Hey, Katie, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So I'm really excited to talk to you about Eqlipse, right? So Eqlipse is a company that many people have probably not heard about. So there's a lot to uncover. There's not a lot of information available out there. And it would be great to hear from you some of the awesome stuff that you guys are doing.
Yeah, so a little bit about Eqlipse and who we are, what we are, where we came from. So we are a middle market government contractor. We're primarily focused on the national security and defense customers. We have just recently launched our brand. However, we have a heritage that is almost, in some cases, over 50 years old.
Wow,
So while it may look like we're brand new company, where did they come from? We actually have a pretty rich heritage.
that's exciting.
Yes, it's very exciting, very unique. Part of the reason that we just launched our brand was that we wanted to create a new culture together. We want to honor where a lot of the heritage organizations came from, but it's a really exciting time to be a part of Eqlipse and the formation of the new entity.
Cool. So what can you tell us a little bit more about that, right? So I think this all happened back in March, late March,
Yep.
and here we are just over a month past that. So I'm sure you've been busy, hair on fire type busy, and pulling all of the things together. What can you share with where you're at now and maybe a little bit about what you all are hoping to accomplish for the remainder of the year?
Yeah. So I'll take a pretty high level perspective and the thesis about how Eqlipse was formed and why we came up with this idea to build Eqlipse. And the thesis is that we really, there's not enough middle market players, that we have a lot of small businesses that are great in what they do, provide some really innovative technologies. And then you've got some really large companies that have the infrastructure and the scale to really take on large programs, but there's not a lot of entities that can really combine that scale and that agility. And so the thesis behind what we're building here is, how do we take some of the most innovative companies, some of the most critical technologies to our national security and our defense missions? How do we take those, invest in those businesses and those technologies to make a bigger mission impact? So that's really the thesis. It all starts with, what are we trying to do? And that's really the thesis behind how we've selected the organization, the technologies, the capabilities, how they're coming together. So provides a little bit of a framework. And then as far as what comes next, we have bought a fair amount of companies, but M&A is a tool, not a strategy. So we are pretty much focused on what we have now. We're putting together some great investments against those products. We're building a brand new facility, over 100-person SCIF in the Maryland market.
That's great.
So we're really excited about that. Again, that's an example of things that it's really hard for a small company, because that's over a very large, a 10-year lease. That's a lot of money for a small business to take on that risk and liability, but it's something that we're willing to do because we think that it will have a bigger mission impact when we have that space, the connectivity, the mission right there. So again, that's an example of an investment that we're making.
Yeah, that's awesome. So big investment. And if we boil that down to the employees, right? And the benefit for employees and having access to mission, having access to large company resources without large company bureaucracy, I absolutely see the point that you're making in that kind of middle market space where flexible, adaptable, not too rigid, and to me that equates to a great opportunity for your employees to have access to programs and work and opportunities for growth and professional development and all of that fun stuff as well, right?
Right. And speaking from, I did start my career at a small business, and I loved the culture at a small business, but I did feel somewhat limited in the opportunities I had because I was limited by the contracts or the labor rate that I could fit into or the geographic location that they happen to be in. And so from an employee standpoint, we hope that this provides more opportunity, opens up other geographic locations, other customers, other contracts. And so from a career standpoint, that it's not just growth for growth's sake. That's not really the purpose. It's really growth so that employees' careers can grow, so that you can learn new skills, learn new technologies, collaborate with other like-minded people. I know that I also spent some time in a larger organization, and some things that I liked about a larger organization was I had reach back. If I needed, an FPGA expert, well, I could find somebody in the organization that had that sort of expertise.
Right.
And sometimes at small businesses, you're somewhat limited if you don't have that expertise. So we're really hoping to bring the best of both worlds together.
Yeah, so it sounds like that. And what I love here is, as you bring more of these organizations together and you have opportunities for the employees, I think one of the big challenges that most organizations have, is, especially when they're smaller, is that culture is something that's very difficult to keep tied together when you have team members who aren't on site. They're not all working together, right? So if all you are doing is subcontracting, your team members are on a program where there's a unique culture in and of itself, they may not be around many of your employees and getting the benefit, the true benefit of what the organization has to offer. So again, love what you guys are doing, putting together large facilities to bring more team members together. Sounds like a winning strategy. So kudos.
Yeah, and it's really exciting time to join Eqlipse. It really is. There's a lot of great things that we have planned and investments that we're making in the business. So
I love that. So as far as the structure of your benefits and things of that nature go, what can you share on that note?
Yeah, so great question. That's a question that we get a lot. I say we have a very, over my tenure, I've integrated this will be my 17th company that I've been through in M&A and integration. And usually one of the first questions that people ask is benefits. What's happening to my benefits? I will say one of the great things about our investor is they understand how important the people are, and they understand that you've got to pay in order to get the best talent. And so we're very purposeful, and we take a do no harm approach in everything we do from an integration standpoint, whether it's benefits, 401k, swag,
super important,
baseball tickets, any of that stuff, right?
The perks, yes.
Right, all the perks, that we really take a do no harm approach. It doesn't mean no change, but we really purposeful in how we do that. So it takes time to kind of go through and catalog, okay, what is there? Okay, this company has Sam's Club membership. This company has gym membership. Well, we can't just expand everything to everyone. Right. So what makes sense? Maybe it's we give everybody a stipend and they decide what is important to them. Do they want the Sam's Club or do they want the gym membership, right? So it's very purposeful in how we go through that. And it really is we want all employees to be in a equal to or better than position than they were previously. And one example is we had some heritage organizations that had some baseball tickets, right? And we looked at, okay, wow, well, you're spending this much on baseball. You have all games. Well, instead of getting 3 or 4 tickets to all games, what if we got a suite to maybe 5 games or 10 games? And everybody was really excited about that, because now we have a suite that we can raffle off or use for events, not to every game, because who can go to every game?
That's right.
So that's just an example of something where it was changed from what you had before, but we hope that it's positive change.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's great. That's great. On the employment side, right? So the jobs and things of that nature. Now, I know that the majority are going to require clearances. Do you have opportunities for anybody that might be interested to become cleared?
Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah. So some of the investment that we're making in the technology, in addition to proving out some of the technologies and products that we're building to sell to our government customers, it provides us an opportunity to pipeline folks for clearance. Some of the organizations didn't even have prime contracts, some of them did, but now that we're making this investment in our products, we can use that product investment also as a pipeline. So it serves 2 purposes, in that we can further our product offerings, which we do have in some parts of the business where they sell a software as a service offering. but it also enables us to have a pseudo bench while they're working on some of those product suites. So that's really exciting and something that the heritage organizations, not all of them had.
That's great. Yeah, good. So a nice way to help expand the talent within this community, which I mentioned that I'm super invested in, right, is bringing more of the talent that we need for national security initiatives and endeavors into this community. So that's fantastic to hear as well.
Awesome.
Good. So I will ask you one final question.
Sure.
And I know I didn't prepare you for this. So if I were to ask ChatGPT about Eqlipse, how do you think ChatGPT would answer?
I think some of the cutting edge, we're really questioning how business is done, and is that the right way? You know, do we need certain systems in place anymore? Like performance management, I'll give you an example.
Oh, great.
Do you need a once a year performance management system? Maybe we should just do check-ins on a monthly basis, and it's like a wiki page or a Teams channel instead of this annual performance management, right? So I think we're really questioning what the future of business, technology, and our customer missions are, and how do we push that envelope?
Great. All right. Well, kudos to ChatGPT for the wonderful response.
Yeah, great.
That's
Thank
fantastic.
you so much, Ross. I really appreciate your time and the opportunity to share more about what we're doing.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to seeing how everything develops for Eqlipse. It sounds like you guys have figured out the formula, and I'm absolutely excited about watching how things continue to develop for you all.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.